supercharged 1961 Beetle. I am finally at the stage where I'm going to hook it up, and we're going to see how it does. Let's see what I've got here. I'll show you. I finally got, as I did last time, I got the serpentine belt pulling the pulley of the AMR500. Here's where the two blowers blow out the air, and the intake is here through this air filter. And the serpentine belt seems to work fine. I drove this as is. It's kind of loud like this, and I wonder if it just resonates because these are open, and if it's going to quiet down some. But I have an 8-step process that I'm going to do right now, and so I thought I would go through these 8 steps. I'll fast forward where needed, and then we're going to try this thing. So basically, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to remove the hats. These are the regular aspirated air hats here with the air filters. I'm going to take those hats off. Then I'm going to replace the main jets, which are F11s with a 1.45 main jet, and I'm going to replace them with these, which are turbo emulsion tubes with 1.55. So I went down from the 1.6 to 1.55, just thinking that maybe that's good. 1.55, so I could do 1.6, 1.65, but I'm going to start with a 1.55 and see how it works. So that's step 2, replacing the main jets. Step 3 is assembling the pressure hats with the gaskets. So here's the gaskets. These go on there as the pressure hats, and you can see the tubes that will connect to the supercharger blower. Then once I do that, I have to tighten down all these clamps here, and then I will attach these hoses here. So I have a number of things. I have the boost reference for the, I'm going to put the boost reference and the gauge teed off of the same fitting here. Then I'm going to dump pressure out of this one here. I'm going to dump pressure if it goes over about 10 or 12 pounds, and the way I'm going to do that is with these two. This one here is an adjustable pressure valve, and then I have another one which is an adjustable pressure valve, so I'm just going to split off to those two things. Hopefully that'll keep me at around 10 to 12 pounds of boost maximum. And then so that'll have my gauge hose, my pressure release hose. Then I'm going to loosen this distributor because I have to retard the timing by 4 degrees, because the way that the electronic ignition works is it goes 7.5 at idle, and I believe above 3,000 RPM it starts to do almost 30 degrees of advance. And under boost, I've read that you don't want to go over 25 or 26 degrees of advance. So I'm taking the hack of just retarding the whole thing by 4 degrees. That means at idle, I'm going to be 3.5 to 4 degrees at idle, and then that's just a hack. I should have, there's a thing there you can do where you can graph the advance, but I'm not buying that yet. So then I'm going to run the motor and check for air pressure leaking around either these gaskets here or my hose fittings. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of mild revving and listen for popping, that would be lean. Listen for some popping, or if you see any kind of black smoke coming out, even just a little bit of visible black smoke, that would mean too rich. So I don't have my wideband air fuel yet. I ordered that, and that I should be able to measure it, but that's what I'm going to do. And so I should be able to just run it. I'm not going to drive it yet, but I'm going to just run it, and I'm going to check for lean or rich mixture under boost, and I can check my gauge to see like what levels of boost I'm getting. So I'll fast forward as needed, but here we go. So step 1 is just taking off these Weber hats. Next step is to loosen up the main jets. So I'll just show what that is. Here are my main jets here. So I just need to loosen them a little bit, and I'll take all 4 of them out. Oops. This works best with a nice big fat screwdriver, regular. There we go, good enough. And then over here, take off this filter and loosen these 2 up. Oops, so you just take these main jets out. As I mentioned, these main jets here are F11s with 145 main jets on them. So these work great for the current setup. But as I mentioned, under turbo load or under boost load with the supercharger, you need the turbo emulsion tubes it changes up the behavior under pressure, and I believe it prevents the air pressure from making it too lean when you rev it up high. So, okay, so I've got my jets out. So the next step is just to replace this end part here with the turbo ones. So let's go ahead and do that. That went in easy. And 4 here. That one needs a tap. All right, there we go. Nothing in the main jet itself. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna assemble these 4 main jets in there and tighten them down a little bit with that screwdriver. And those 2 are in. So the way this looks here, these guys here are the rings, and that keeps, so somehow the differential of the size here with the venturi underneath, that keeps the air pressure correct for under boost. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I bought these. This for a turbo or supercharged setup, and the size here is important. These are the main jets. Again, this here, that holds it down, and I have the same setup on the other side. And then what I do here is I need the gasket here. This gasket is going to hold the air pressure. You do have to kind of crank it down a little bit to keep the pressure in there. Once you get this gasket in place, then what you want is the actual pressure cap. So you can see I used epoxy on this actually. I had bought these as the unfinished kind drilled my own holes, made, you can buy these, but the angle was wrong for my personal engine setup, so that's why I actually made my own. It's tricky to get this. See, this one has to get by these hoses. So I found the best way is to put this all the way up like that, and to put this on top of the gasket. Basically in place. It's in place. It all looks oriented well. Then I have to take my two threaded knobs here or my two threaded rods here, go through the holes and hope that I can find the before is actually take a little wrench and tighten this down pretty good. But anyway, that all looks good for that side. So now I'll do the other side. Let me go ahead and bring this over. This other side is this one here. So I need my gasket. Here. Get all the junk off of it. Okay, so on my list, which I've now stepped on, I did remove hats of Weber's, replace main jets with turbo, assemble pressure hats with gaskets, and hose clamps to the blower. So I have these hose clamps here, and those all need to be tightened down. So these are all, this is a 12, that's tight, and I have 10, 10, 10 millimeter. So I need to, that all still looks good. Alright, so I hooked everything up. So here's how this works now. I did it a little differently than I said. So the boost is coming through here, and then here there's one outlet for this boost that goes to a pressure relief valve here. The pressure relief valves both dump into this hose here that basically goes into the fan shroud. So it dumps excess pressure, just pulls it right back in under there. This bottom hose from the T goes to the boost reference of the fuel pressure regulator. So that should up the fuel pressure as the boost goes up. And this back one comes out to a T where one goes to the boost gauge up front. This goes under the car and all the way through by the tunnel and goes up to the front gauge. And then the other part of it goes to this, which is an adjustable boost. Again, I can adjust the boost before it starts dumping boost into here. And this is just a manual one. If I'm standing back here, I can let pressure out. So this is all now set up. So let's look at the list. Attach gauge hose and boost reference hose. Attach pressure valve hoses for pressure relief. Loosen distributor in preparation for retarding timing by 4 degrees. Okay, so that requires all right, here we go. Well, hard to know what happened there, but it's possible that the fuel pump is. Let's try this again. one, but it's boosting, if you can see here, at 5. Just staying around 5, so I think that's good. Did what I thought I was going to do here. Okay, well, I think I accomplished what I wanted to, which is it runs, it's supercharged, it stays between 5 and 7 pounds of boost. Seems pretty good. It seems to rev okay, and now that the timing is correct, it's actually staying idling. I'm not entirely sure I'm willing to drive it until I get my air fuel mix wideband sensor, which I can then see, you know, whether I guessed correctly with the 1.55 main jets. But in any case, this is the beast, and I will see, you know, in a future video, we're going to see if the acceleration, I'd done a video before where it's 8.22 seconds 0 to 60 before I put any of this on. It's possible that I have actually made it slower. It's also possible that I made it faster, like at low RPM, and then as you speed up, it starves for air because this is only a 500 blower. So it's also possible that I made it slower, but you know, this has been an interesting project, and I will be interested to drive it around. So anyway, that is the supercharger. It's running, it's loud. For some reason now, it slightly hits here. So I might have to do a little alteration maybe of my hinges. Maybe I can make that not hit. That is the supercharged Beetle, and we'll take it for a drive next time if I can get this working reasonably. All right, take care, and talk to you guys soon.